Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Stay in Mosque, I'tikaf, Volume 3, Book 33 to 242-262. Volume 3, Book 33, number 242. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Apostle used to practice i'tikaf in the last 10 days of the month of Ramadan. Volume 3, Book 33, number 243. Narrated by Aisha, the wife of the Prophet. The Prophet used to practice i'tikaf in the last 10 days of Ramadan till he died, and then his wives used to practice i'tikaf after him. Volume 3, Book 33, number 244. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Allah's Apostle used to practice i'tikaf in the middle 10 days of Ramadan, and once he stayed in i'tikaf till the night of the 21st, and it was the night in the morning of which he used to come out of his i'tikaf. The Prophet said, "Whoever was in i'tikaf with me should stay in i'tikaf for the last 10 days, for I was informed of the date of the night of Qadr, but I have been caused to forget it. In the dream, I saw myself prostrating in mud and water in the morning of that night. So, look for it in the last 10 nights and in the odd ones of them." It rained that night, and the roof of the mosque dribbled as it was made of leaf stalks of date palms. I saw with my own eyes the mark of mud and water on the forehead of the Prophet, i.e. in the morning of the 21st. Volume 3, Book 33, number 245. Narrated by Aisha. The Prophet used to bend his head out to me while he was in i'tikaf in the mosque during my monthly periods, and I would comb and oil his hair. Volume 3, Book 33, number 246. Narrated by Aisha. The wife of the Prophet, Allah's Apostle, used to let his head in the house while he was in the mosque, and I would comb and oil his hair. When in i'tikaf, he used not to enter the house except for a need. Volume 3, Book 33, number 247. Narrated by Aisha. The Prophet used to embrace me during my menses. He also used to put his head out of the mosque while he was in i'tikaf, and I would wash it during my menses. Volume 3, Book 33, number 248. Narrated by Ibn Umar. Umar asked the Prophet, "I vowed in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance to stay in i'tikaf for one night in al-Masjid al-Haram." The Prophet said to him, "Fulfill your vow." Volume 3, Book 33, number 249. Narrated by Amra. Aisha said, "The Prophet used to practice i'tikaf in the last 10 days of Ramadan, and I used to pitch a tent for him, and after offering the morning prayer, he used to enter the tent." Hafsa asked the permission of Aisha to pitch a tent for her, and she allowed her, and she pitched her tent. When Zainab bint Jahsh saw it, she pitched another tent. In the morning the Prophet noticed the tents. He said, "What is this?" He was told of the whole situation. Then the Prophet said, "Do you think that they intended to do righteousness by doing this?" He therefore abandoned the i'tikaf in that month and practiced i'tikaf for 10 days in the month of Shawwal. Volume 3, Book 33, number 250. Narrated by Aisha. The Prophet intended to practice i'tikaf, and when he reached the place where he intended to perform i'tikaf, he saw some tents, the tents of Aisha, Hafsa and Zainab. So, he said, "Do you consider that they intended to do righteousness by doing this?" And then he went away and did not perform i'tikaf in Ramadan, but performed it in the month of Shawwal for 10 days. Volume 3, Book 33, number 251. Narrated by Ali bin al-Hussein. Safiya, the wife of the Prophet, told me that she went to Allah's Apostle to visit him in the mosque while he was in i'tikaf in the last 10 days of Ramadan. She had a talk with him for a while, then she got up in order to return home. The Prophet accompanied her. When they reached the gate of the mosque, opposite the door of Salama, 2 Ansari men were passing by and they greeted Allah's apostle. He told them, "Do not run away," and said, "She is my wife, Safiya bint Huyai." Both of them said, "Subhan Allah, how dare we think of any evil, O Allah's apostle?" And they felt it. The Prophet said to them, "Satan reaches everywhere in the human body as blood reaches in it, everywhere in one's body. I was afraid lest Satan might insert an evil thought in your minds." Volume 3, Book 33, number 252. Narrated by Abu Salama bin Abdur Rahman. I asked Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, "Did you hear Allah's apostle talking about the night of Qadr?" He replied in the affirmative and said, "Once we were in itikaf with Allah's apostle in the middle 10 days of Ramadan, and we came out of it in the morning of the 20th. And Allah's apostle delivered a sermon on the 20th of Ramadan, and said, I was informed of the date of the night of Qadr in my dream, but had forgotten it. So, look for it in the odd nights of the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan. I saw myself prostrating in mud and water on that night, as a sign of the night of Qadr. So, whoever had been in itikaf with Allah's apostle should return for it." The people returned to the mosque for itikaf. There was no trace of clouds in the sky. But all of a sudden a cloud came and it rained. Then the prayer was established. They stood for the prayer. And Allah's apostle prostrated in mud and water, and I saw mud over the forehead and the nose of the Prophet. Volume 3, Book 33, number 253. Narrated by Aisha. One of the wives of Allah's apostle practiced itikaf with him while she had bleeding in between her periods, and she would see red, blood, or yellowish traces, and sometimes we put a tray beneath her when she offered the prayer. Volume 3, Book 33, number 254. Narrated by Ali bin al-Hussein, from Safiya, the Prophet's wife. The wives of the Prophet were with him in the mosque, while he was in itikaf. And then they departed, and the Prophet said to Safiya bint Huyai, "Don't hurry up, for I shall accompany you," and her dwelling was in the house of Osama. The Prophet went out, and in the meantime 2 Ansari men met him, and they looked at the Prophet and passed by. The Prophet said to them, "Come here. She is my wife, Safiya bint Huyai." They replied, "Subhan Allah, how dare we think of evil, O Allah's apostle? We never expect anything bad from you." The Prophet replied, "Satan circulates in the human being as blood circulates in the body, and I was afraid lest Satan might insert an evil thought in your minds."